Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chicane, where we, your hosts, Brinley
and McKenna,
put the chic in motorsports.
Our goal is to bring the latest paddock pulp, provide in-depth and unique interviews with fans and your favorite F1 content creators.
And encourage you in learning about the sport in a fun and innovative way.
We hope you stick around and enjoy this week's episode, where we talk about all the Austria drama and give you our hot takes for Silverstone.
With that, let's get revving.
We have a special guest again. She hasn't been in a few episodes, I feel like.
No, she's been napping during the episodes. So she's here with us today. We filmed a little bit later than we usually do, just because of our schedules, but we're still going to get it out for you guys. So
yeah,
if you don't touch it,
it doesn't affect you guys. So
totally fine.
All right.
P1s and DNFs of the week.
Yeah, so this week has been pretty good so far. I just got my nails done. This is not going to focus. But it's 4th of July this week, so I guess that's a P1 is my husband gets a day off work, so I get an extra day to spend with him this week.
Aww.
And we just get to celebrate and hang out and have a cookout with the family. DNF, I'm not going to get into it too much, but I had some stuff going on this week that was going to be really exciting, but then it ended up just like plans changed and it didn't end up working out how we thought it would, so that was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. Just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. DNF, nothing's really sticking out for me. Maybe just, like I said kind of last week, rest. I haven't had a lot of time to rest in the past 2 weeks. Ow, that hurt, baby. I haven't had a lot of time to rest. It's just busy stuff going on in my life right now. But P1s, I kept the secret from you guys last week, but then I'm telling you now. If you haven't already seen on my social media, I was able to go to the NASCAR race here in Nashville this past weekend, and I had paddock passes. So I was able to walk around the paddock, meet some drivers, look at the cars real up and close, and it was I stayed in a hospitality unit, had food, it was some really, really cool time. It was a really cool time. And then the race was absolutely insane. Went into a quintuple overtime, 13 yellow flags throughout the race.
Wow.
So very, very interesting. And yeah, it was a blast and I had so much fun. So that was probably my P1 for this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looked so much fun.
Yeah. And I also noticed, because I was like, oh my gosh, this just makes me want to go to races even more. I was checking the schedule, and IndyCar will actually be here in September, not August. So we could possibly go.
I want to go to that.
Yeah.
We should look into that.
We should look into that, which we are going to do an IndyCar episode later in the summer. Sorry for that loud noise.
Sorry.
We are going to do a IndyCar episode later in the summer, kind of explaining how IndyCar works, because we both have been kind of getting into it a little bit more. And it's a motorsport podcast. We're going to talk about all kinds of motorsports, so. All right.
Okay.
This week's paddock pulp. Let me pull it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure I got most of it memorized. 2 contracts were extended for the 2025 season and quote-unquote beyond. No specification on that. For Lance Stroll, no surprise there, and Pierre Gasly at Alpine, which I'm interested to see. Are you surprised about the Alpine? Are you surprised that he extended his contract with them, or were you thinking he'd move?
I'm not surprised by either news of the driver contracts.
Okay.
I was expecting. I never thought that we wouldn't see Pierre.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mess with the audio if you play with that, okay? So yeah, I never had thought about it that much, but I mean, I was just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then speaking of Alpine drivers, the Alpine reserve driver will be Jack Doohan will be driving Pierre's car during FP1 this weekend. Yeah. So check for that. He's a pretty good driver. And then this is actually kind of rumored. I haven't actually seen it confirmed by Sky Sports themselves. But for some of you that might keep up with that side of the sport for F1, Danica Patrick was fired. That is the rumor right now. I can read you a little bit of the excerpt. So, quote, "In a surprising and controversial turn of events, former racing driver Danica Patrick has been fired from her role at Sky Sports just before the GP Austria 2024. The decision comes in wake of Patrick's recent podcast where she discussed conspiracy theories about lizard people, which has sparked considerable backlash. So I have not listened to the podcast. I haven't listened to any clips of the podcast. I have no idea what she's claiming or...
Should we do a lizard people episode?
What is lizard people? We probably shouldn't talk about it on here if she's getting backlash for it. Because I'm very confused. I'm like...
It makes me think of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it makes me think of the Thing in Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I just don't understand. So she's had a lot of backlash online for a variety of things. So a lot of people were actually cheering this on as she has been unofficially, possibly officially removed from the Sky Sports broadcasting. So we'll see if that's confirmed. She wasn't there for the Austrian Grand Prix, so it might come to confirmed light soon. But yeah, that's it for Paddock Pulp this week that I'm aware of.
So let's talk about Austria.
Mm-hmm. What was your...
go first, or...
Well, you should
want to talk about our predictions first before we get into the meat and potatoes?
Yes, the meat and potatoes. I love
right.
that saying.
So, hold on. Let me scroll up here for a second because I'm not looking at my predictions. All right.
This is your sprint predictions.
My sprint predictions were no DNFs and non-max win. Which isn't fully wrong, but I had predicted George winning the sprint race. Is that right?
Yeah, for the sprint race, which is pretty interesting if you watch the race this weekend. Yeah. So you're kind of there a little bit.
So yeah, I was like...
You had the vibes just in the wrong place.
It wasn't a bullseye, but it was on the board.
Yeah. And then I kind of agreed with the no DNFs, and then I said a non-max sprint win as well with Oscar. And I think Oscar almost won. I didn't really watch the sprint this weekend because I was busy, but I heard there was a lot of stuff going on, and he would have won if his lap didn't get deleted or something. Or he got P2? I don't know.
No, he got P2.
Okay.
But it was interesting. Lando and Max almost crashed in that one, too. So.
As for hot takes, what was your hot take for this weekend?
So, I had said that Daniel would outperform Checo, which isn't exactly true, but Daniel did get points this weekend.
True.
And a certain Haas outperformed Checo.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Who's the real driver of the day?
Who's the real driver of the day? We'll get into that later, too. As for me, I said a contract will be announced in the week of the Austrian Grand Prix, and I was correct. We had 2 contracts that were announced, so we're getting closer to silly season.
This week.
I know.
Like, I don't know. I feel like this week has been
all over the
3
place.
Weeks.
I know. For your podium predictions. Your bottom. Sorry.
All right. My podium predictions were Max, Charles, and Pierre. We both kind of had like a driver on there that no one would expect.
Yeah.
So I was pretty wrong. Max was not on podium, and Charles had a really rough race.
Yeah.
And
then Pierre wasn't on podium.
They did normal, like Alpine kind of standards.
Yeah. As for me, I said Max, George, and Fernando. So I did get George, but I did say Max would win, which he wasn't even on podium. So I'm like, okay. George on podium, and then Fernando, I don't remember where he placed, but because I was so focused on everything else that was happening. But yeah. What about your DNFs?
Yeah. So I said we'd have 2 DNFs, and the only one that I specified was Valtteri. That didn't happen.
Okay. I said 1 DNF. I said 1 DNF, and then 2 driver penalties. And I didn't specify for any of those, and we did have those happen. But then I was rewatching the episode just to see if, like, we missed any of our pre-race predictions, and I said McLaren wouldn't have a good race.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like in between, so.
Yeah. They could have had a better weekend. They had a good sprint race.
Do you want to talk about the race now?
Let's talk about it. That's what everyone wants to hear anyway.
They want to hear our thoughts on it, so. Do you want to go first, or?
First of all, I just have to say that it was a very entertaining.
Yes.
And chaotic race. Like, there was some chaotic driving going on.
I was in the living room watching it because it's 8 a.m. for us for that race. And I got up so fast that I tripped over my chair that I was sitting on in the living room, fell on the floor, and then got back up, and I was pacing the room back and forth. That's how stressed out I was. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a crash between Maximilian and Lando.
Maximilian. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that was happening.
There was so much happening.
Penalties left and right. There was track limits. There was the Alpines fighting, hitting each other.
Fernando going, wow.
And then Pierre passing Ocon and going, ciao. It was a wreck of a race. And
Charles had a horrible race. He took damage at the beginning. Him and Oscar touched, and then I don't know if he was just had a really bad race after that, or if he took on more damage than what they originally thought, and so he just couldn't make his way back up the field. But he had 4 pit stops, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there were so many. I felt like every time I took my eyes off of Max and Lando, Charles was pitting again.
Yeah. Do you need to have a nap again? No. Okay. Personally, one of my favorite moments that came out of the race was, I've already touched on it, but Max and Lando collided, and then they both went back to the pits. Max was able to get back out on track, got a 10-second penalty, still finished ahead of Hülkenberg, who was holding back Checo pretty much the entire race.
Yeah.
I just thought, you couldn't get any better than that, really. That was really funny.
And then Haas getting points,
double Haas points.
Everybody was so focused on Max and Lando that they didn't even notice that Haas got points.
Yeah.
It's And then for driver of the day, I was explaining this to McKenna earlier because a lot of people online were a little confused on why Lando got driver of the day. The way that they had set it up this weekend for F1 TV, the votes usually happen around 15 laps left. And they had done it 20 laps left and then ended it 10 laps to go or something. So it was only open for 10 laps. And usually they keep it open a little bit closer to the end of the race. So it was already closed before the collision with Max and Lando. So coming from that point of view, not knowing what was going to happen, a lot of people were rooting for Lando because of how close the fight was between him and Max. So that's why he got driver of the day. If it was open for later than that, he probably wouldn't have got it with the DNF and everything. So it does count if it closes before him DNFing and everything. So that's to explain it for a little bit if you were confused about that. So my thoughts on the crash, I am a Lando fan. I'm a McLaren fan. I'm saying a Lando fan. I'm literally wearing his Lando wins shirt. Lando fan, McLaren fan, but I do really love Max as a driver. He's a wonderful racer. However, I think both of them were a little over the top this weekend, which is what produces really good racing. Interesting racing, 100%. I can acknowledge that as a fan. But I think that there were moments where Max was truly threatened by Lando, and he resulted back to his original, adolescent racing.
More aggressive.
Unfair type of racing. There was a point where Max gained an advantage over Lando through track limits and through the racing penalty, FIA side of it. You're supposed to give that position back to the driver that you passed if you passed that way, and Max wouldn't give it back to Lando. So that's initially what ended up his 10-second penalty, right? Mm-hmm. So that was one thing. I think Lando, as a favorite fan of him, I think he was a little bit too eager in parts of the race too. I felt like if he had more of a cool head, then it would have been able to be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying that it's his fault for the crash.
No, I wouldn't say that the crash was necessarily his fault.
Mm-mm.
I will say, like, even though it was like, oh my gosh, they hit each other, I was not surprised when they crashed into each other. I feel like Lando was going for a lot of kind of like a Hail Mary overtake. Like, the McLaren was faster, he was faster, and I feel like he could have kind of reined it in and, like, gotten a clean overtake if he just, like, wasn't trying at every corner.
Yeah.
I felt like that. But I did say this to Brinley earlier, and I feel, like, proud of Max because he used to be, like, very hot-headed and very aggressive, and we saw some of that on track, but afterwards, like, he wasn't saying anything bad. He was, like, he was very professional, I guess, in his responses afterwards to, like, what happened.
Yeah.
So that made me feel, like, very proud to kind of see his growth in that. Yeah. And I feel like now he's more confident. I think that comes from being more, like, confident in his driving ability and, like, yeah, I am, like, really good, actually, kind of. And, like, he's not trying to prove himself anymore and be, like, the biggest, baddest.
Where I feel like Lando is at that point where he's tasted a win and he wants to prove himself, and there's actually a fight now for possibly the championship. Yeah. So I think he's so eager to prove that he can do it again. He can beat Max in almost equal machinery.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, I don't know. It was just the way that everything had went about. Like, it's true racing. It happens. It works out like that sometimes. But it was honestly so frustrating to watch both of them be so eager to win that they, like, take each other out.
Yeah.
But then it produced a George win, which we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
George's first and only win before that was in Brazil of 2022. So congratulations to him. My favorite thing, you saw the Oscar thing? Did you see it? Okay, so Oscar got podium because of that too. And George was like, man, yeah, I mean, it was so interesting, like,
he's like, it was a really interesting fight, a really good fight.
Interesting, good fight. And then Oscar was like, well, yeah, you just won because of it.
He's like, well, you did just win the race because of it.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, Oscar.
I mean, say it how it is.
I guess. But
yeah, but it was so funny. I love that, like, because I think, was George, he was in fourth at that point. I feel like he passed, I don't remember what he passed.
Yeah, he was fourth.
But then Toto came on the radio, was like, we could win this, George. And he was like, let me freaking drive.
It was really cool, and, like, that's the thing that I do appreciate about such, like, hard, difficult, frustrating racing is that it produces really cool results and, like, a good story, and, like, the drama is always there at Austria. Like, just the way that the track is set up, there's always going to be drama. So I feel like it makes it more interesting for the fans.
Yeah.
And, like, if you look at this season, 100% is going to go down in history books, because if we look back at the last 3 seasons, Max winning is great. It produces that regular dominance that we see regularly happen in the history of Formula One. But when you have a race season that multiple different drivers are winning races back to back, and there's all these crazy fights for the championship, and it's not just decided halfway through the season who's going to win, it's so nice and so fun.
I do feel like George said it best when he said, it's not over till it's over.
It's not over till it's over.
Yabba-dabba-doo.
Yabba-dabba-doo. I forgot he said that.
Yeah, like, George, what kind of celebration is that?
I was going to say, he must have, like, told his, like, nephew or something that if he wins again, he'll
like,
say
that has to be, like, a
Yeah.
inside joke or something somewhere.
Why are you quoting, was it Scooby-Doo?
That's the Flintstones.
Flintstones, right.
Yeah.
All right, so for some of the stats of the race before we get into our pre-race predictions for Silverstone and some history. Do you want to do...
So,
pit stop?
Yeah. Well, fastest?
Yeah.
And then you can do...
Yeah.
Okay. So our fastest pit stop was actually done by Ferrari, which they had multiple chances to get it. So good job, guys. You did it. And it was 1.95 seconds.
Which is really close. Pretty good.
Yeah.
As for our fastest lap this weekend, which really surprised me, I was so focused on like the actual fight that I didn't notice this. It was set by Fernando Alonso at 1 minute 7 seconds .694. So.
And I think he got that last lap or second.
Oh yeah, it was towards the end.
Like right at the end, right in the nick of time.
Yeah. So congrats, Fernando. And then driver of the day was
Lando Norris. Yeah. Already said that. I think.
We did talk
just
about.
Just to reiterate.
Explain that earlier. How that happened and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Box. Coming to the pits.
Okay. So for our pit stop fun fact today, in 2005 at the U.S. Grand Prix, 20 cars took the formation lap, but only 6 cars went on to start the race.
How in the world does that happen?
I don't know. I should have looked into like why, but I was just like
6
in a
cars?
hurry. Yeah.
Does that mean they all crashed or like engine failure between the formation lap and the start?
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I want to know why.
I know. I was like, dang, I should have run out the stats. But
it's okay. That's crazy though. If you want to
leave
read
it to your imagination, it's more fun.
And then I'll do that.
All right. So, jumping on over to Silverstone, we are in the Formula One Qatar Airways British Grand Prix 2024.
So excited. For some information about this location, welcome to the 12th round of racing here for Formula One. Drivers and teams alike are headed to Silverstone this weekend based in the United Kingdom. This is a home race for a variety of teams, and their factories are based out of London. This is a home race specifically for Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Lando Norris, and partially home race for Alexander Albon.
Yeah.
This track is known for its history and excitement, and we have 2 more races after this before F1 starts its summer break. So keep in mind, silly season is just around the corner.
Did you see in Oscar was getting interviewed, and he was like, your home race is next weekend, and Oscar was like, it's not my home race, but it's my team home race.
He's like, I'll find a way to make my home race.
I mean, all races are his home race.
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was funny.
That's hilarious.
All right. As for timing for this race, the race is for Central Standard Time. Okay. This is 9 a.m. And then qualifying is 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturday, and practice will start at 5:30 a.m. And then practice 2 is 10 to 11 a.m. and practice 1 is 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. So
on Friday, right?
Yeah. So pretty good timing for us over here in America.
Yeah, not too bad
Canada.
timing. These triple headers were not that bad timing wise. I prefer getting up in the morning and watching it and just starting my day. So. As for length of this track is 5.891 kilometers long, or for the American fans, 3.661 miles long at 52 laps.
So Silverstone has 18 turns, 2 DRS zones, and 1 speed trap.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of surprising because the track history is so intertwined with all the turns that I was expecting there would be more.
Yeah. Well, 18 is like a good amount.
Yeah, it's good. I was just expecting more. As for some quick history behind this track, the track has been around since 1948. The track was built on the site of a World War II Royal Air Force bombing station. It opened up in 1943 from RAF Silverstone, opening it as a training ground for those who were in the war. And then in 1947, locals surrounding the area around Silverstone held an unofficial race at the abandoned airways of the strip. So then after that, the first official F1 race was hosted in 1950. So tons of history here at the circuit. It is the oldest circuit on the F1 calendar.
It's where it all began.
And King George the fifth? Wait, it's 1V? 4th or 5th?
That's 5.
Okay, 5. King George V actually was there and inaugurated the race for that first race. So that's crazy that one of the first kings from Britain history was there.
Yeah. Let's go, guys.
Yeah.
And our previous winner here in 2023 was Max Verstappen.
And then Who else was on podium? I forgot.
Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. So we got
Sir
2 Brits.
Lewis Hamilton.
Sir Lewis
we
Hamilton.
We have to make sure to call him Sir Lewis Hamilton because
he's knighted.
Knighted and on his home ground.
So. As for the lap record here at this track is held by Max Verstappen at 1 minute 27.097 seconds in 2020.
So pretty recent.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Now we'll just get into like our hot takes, podium predictions, and DNF ideas that if we have any. I don't think that. Yeah, wait. F1 Academy is not racing this weekend, and then F2 and F3 should be.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. I guess not.
Oh, I haven't looked at all.
Oh,
so maybe they are.
Maybe they are. So if you tune into those, then check those out too and see who will do well at this race. So, what is your hot take for the race?
I think we're gonna have a really good race.
Oh, I really hope so. I really hope so.
I feel like Silverstone, there's always something to entertain.
Lando
Lando
Norris leads the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, so I don't even know what my hot take is gonna be, guys.
I know what my hot take is gonna be.
I know what it's gonna be too.
Do you though?
I think so.
Okay.
That's what. No, I don't want to give my predictions yet. You just do your hot take first, and then I'll think about it more.
My hot take. I have two hot takes. One of them, Logan points. It's
God bless America.
It's 4th of July this weekend. He's in England. He's gonna get points. 100%. Our little American driver. He's gonna get points.
He has to drive a car this weekend with
American flag. Yeah. And then my other hot take is that all Brit drivers get points. That's
I like
my hot
that.
take. Lewis, Lando, George, and Alex. So that means double William points. If my prediction runs true.
Okay. I'm gonna go for. I don't even know, guys. I'm struggling here to come up with one. I don't know. I don't have one. I can't think.
For the whole weekend, you don't have one? Like qualifying?
Are we supposed to have rain this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know that for sure.
I'm gonna say Max doesn't get pole position.
Oh, I like that.
I'll just say that.
I like that.
And maybe he gets like not even like the front row.
Wow. I like that. I like that hot take.
I know what you want.
I know you do. I'm wearing the shirt right now. We're gonna make it happen, guys. So if you want to hear my podium predictions now, Lando Norris wins the British Grand Prix. I love Lewis. I like Max, and I like George, and I like Alex, but I love Lando and Lewis, and Lewis has already won before, and I want Lando to win another win, and I want him to have a home Grand Prix win, because he got podium position here last year. He was P2. He was close to winning the race, and I think with this car being so good this year, he can finally do it. So I want a Lando Norris win here at Silverstone. I'll be happy. Like, he could literally, this could be the last race that he wins this season, and I'd be happy if he wins at his home race. So, podium, Oscar. I'm not going to say which position. And then I'm going to say Lewis, because George has been doing really good. I want Lewis to do good as well. Yeah. So, Lando win, and then switch around for Lewis and Oscar.
Okay. I'm going to say... You're going to hate me.
Oh, no.
I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton P1.
Ooh. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah.
I think the only way I would be mad is if, Lando, didn't get points, didn't get a podium, DNF'd. That would be, my worst nightmare, and I would feel so bad for him.
Yeah. And then I'm going to say, because Charles has had a rough go of it since Monaco, so he needs a P2.
Okay.
And then, who else do I want to be on there? I'm going to say Oscar. I feel like he hasn't beat Lando, that I'm going to tell you, this year. Has he beat him at all? Or just
This was the first one, Austria.
Yeah.
That I'm aware. No, he did Monaco.
Yeah, that's true. Monaco, he got on podium and Lando didn't. So that's going to be my podium predictions.
Okay.
I'm not that confident in it, but that is what I want to happen.
Okay. Do you have any DNF predictions?
Okay, I'm gonna go Checo DNF.
Ooh.
That's rough. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
There was 3 last year. Do you want me to tell you who it was?
Sure.
Gasly, Magnussen, and Ocon. So double Alpine DNF.
Yeah.
And then De Vries was lapped. Sorry, maybe that wasn't necessary information.
Okay. So what did I just say? I just said Checo.
You just
DNF?
said Checo, yeah.
And then I'm gonna say a Haas DNF and a. Oh wait, but no, we're celebrating America. I can't have.
Do not say
American
Logan.
Team not
Oh,
finish
okay.
the race.
I was like, do not say Logan.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go for 1.
1?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say 2. I agree with the Checo. And Lance. I don't know why I thought that. I don't hate him, but I don't know. I felt that one.
Yeah.
Checo and Lance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm fine with that happening.
Checo and Lance.
Yeah, I feel like Checo's been having a rough time since signing his contract.
It makes me so interested to see, like, we're starting to see the rumors again that Danny's going to be replaced. But I'm like, why is there no rumors that Checo's going to be replaced? Like, in a perfect world, not a perfect world, I'm not going to say that. Like, I just genuinely don't understand. Danny, I think that his time in F1 is kind of like coming to an end.
Yeah.
But he's also in a crap car. Like, V-Carb doesn't do well. And if it does, then it's like, woo, like Haas, like, surprising. But, like, Checo, like we said at the beginning of this episode, Max got a 10-second penalty. Got contact in the race. Dropped down, and then still outperformed the Haas that was in P6. And Checo couldn't even pass the other Haas. With no issues. Make it make sense. Like, it does not make sense.
When you compare Max to Checo, it's like, do you guys have the same car?
Which, I mean, I feel like the more that we get into this sport, the more that I'm like, okay, so the cars are not equal machinery for the teams. I mean, we look at Williams and all the drama we saw in Australia with Alex putting it in the wall in practice and then them giving Logan's car to Alex. Like, that's not equal machinery.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, Red Bull and McLaren have upgrades this weekend. I don't know about the other teams, but I know that Red Bull and McLaren definitely do.
Okay, interesting.
So
we'll just see how it goes. I don't have strong feelings about anything that's like happening on track, but I just feel like it's gonna be really
interesting,
juicy.
Yeah. I'm praying for that Lando Norris win. The more that we get through this season, like, for those that do watch the TV show, I can't wait for the TV show to see all the drama.
Oh my gosh, did you see the meme? That was like the real winners of the Austrian TV. It was like Netflix.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah.
All right.
I think that's it. We did talk a little bit about the drama at the race, our thoughts on some of the driver contracts, and then Silverstone ahead this weekend.
I really wish that this week we could see what the verdict is on Logan, but I don't think we'll see it until summer break.
Yeah. Or even after. Like, he didn't get re-signed until last October, November. It was later in the year.
It was almost end of season.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Comment your podium predictions down below. Silverstone's a wonderful track. There's going to be a lot of neon green. I'm telling you right now for Lando. And hopefully Lewis, because like we said, we love the Brit drivers. Make sure to show some love to Alex because this is the closest home race that he will get. Mm-hmm. So he is part British. He grew up in England. So give him some love as well on social media. This is a home race for all 4 of them. I'd love to see some custom helmets for all of them. So yeah, those are my ending thoughts.
All right. So with that, that's Checkered Flag. Bye-bye. Bye.